Good morning. It is Thursday, April 11th. And hey, look here. I jumped into this gold trade here. It looks like it's not going to work out, though. Let's see. I'm not making the mistake I made yesterday, having my stop too close. So if it does stop us out, it'll be a little bit more than I like to take, but 23, that's still not too bad. I'd rather not get stopped out and have it go in my favor. So in gold, we did have a false breakout here kind of right away. We're kind of winded down, taking this off the gold line. I prefer to take it off of the midline. So if we get stopped out here, we come back down here, retest, that would be a re-entry point. See what happens. But this candle pattern here seemed, that's kind of a reversal pattern. So having that reversal pattern after the breakout, we already had 1, 2, 3 pushes up. So that was my rationale for giving it a shot. We'll see, obviously, if that works or not. In oil, let's see, the range is forming now. We've come down, kind of wound down here from sort of pre-open into where we are now. Cross down below, we did come up to the gold line, now pushing lower. Had 7:30 news this morning. As you can see here on NQ, that pushed up. Basically almost all the way across the London range here. So we'll see. Oh, goodness. Okay, I don't really like the way this gold is shaping up. Would have expected more of a reaction there if it was going to take off from that point, which it hasn't. All right, there's my stop. So that's all right. Again, that was a decent entry. Just didn't work out. Let's see. Take those arrows off there for now, just so they distract me when I'm looking at the chart. So I'm just going to pull them off for a second. Did come back yesterday, and we had, I think it was after the stream, and I did have a short trade in NQ that paid off pretty well. Brought me back up to not quite break even on the day. I think I ended up, all the accounts were kind of all over the place, but call it $100 negative was, I think, the worst account, right? And I probably could have stuck around and done more, but it was just such a choppy day yesterday. I felt like, the odds of me being punished by the chop were probably better than me finding, the good opportunity. So I sat it out for the rest of the day. All right, so here we have tested the midline. So we gotta get in there. It's another pretty wide stop, so see how it works out, but you never know which ones are going to work out and which ones aren't, so you got to take them all. So stop is 24 on this one. Let's put some extensions on here just so we can see where we're headed, maybe. This is kind of interesting because we do have the overnight open right here. The news candle this morning kind of wicked both sides, but finished as an up close candle. So from my entry on this one to top of the range is 41. Range is pretty big. 116. It's a big range. Yeah, so far so good. Obviously, kind of the levels we got to push through are these highs, which hopefully we're just going to reach up here and take all these out. It's 54 up to the kind of this high here. So we'll just see how this goes. Oil still creating our little range here. Falling down. Yeah, we're in a good spot here on this gold trade right now. I think we will add to it if we push past this candle right here. There it goes. So now we're in 2 contracts. We'd really like to push if this pushes. Stop is moved up a little bit behind this candle here. But since we pushed above this high, that's a good sign. Our next high is here. This line is crooked. Let's straighten up. There we go. I think that's straight. All right, nice push up through there. All right, let's see if we tap that open range again. See what happens up here. A little bit of a stronger reaction at that spot. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up close candles in a row, so getting a little bit of a pullback isn't a surprise. All right, pulling back to our gold line. Okay, the open range formed in oil, and now we're pulling up hard. Oil's kind of moving strongly in both directions, so that's kind of interesting. All right, gold. Let's move out of here. Had your nice little pullback. So where this candle wick came down, this is basically my break even. Well, it is. That's my break even point on the position on the 2 contracts. So we did come back to break even. Now we're pushing up. All right, we're outside of the range, so we're going to move back. Move our stop to just 1 tick above break even, just as a protection there. Let's see where it goes. See where it goes. Just going to leave my stop loss there for the moment. This is a pretty good trade so far. We're up about $400. Could come out down though and stop us out for nothing. So here we had 1, 2. We pulled down quite a ways before we pushed back up. So that seems to be what it's liking to do here. So these little pullbacks, you know, they can make me a little bit nervous, but the only way to know where the train's going to go is to stay on it. So I guess we're going to stay on it. The only thing that's going to really make me want to consider taking profit up here is if we just really kind of wick up and down at this level for more than probably 3 or 4 candles. This is kind of the 3rd candle here. If we don't sort of move up, then I'll probably just take profit here because it's more likely we come back before we go higher. But if this candle were to close out of the open range, I think that would be a very good sign for us. All right, oil's testing the top of its range, but it's going right up into the red line. Overnight open's way up there. It's 67 away. So, I mean, could be something, but it's probably more a situation of pushing out, retest, and then up. All right, if we break through this level, sky's the limit. No, I don't know. I mean, we do know that our 50% is way up here because this is a very large range. So every time we hit one of these levels, we're getting some, some resistance there. So that's 60 ticks from basically every 50% increment here is about 60. So yeah, that's a pretty strong wick inside here. That is still kind of chopping up. All right, that's 2 times that we've tested this level here. So I really want to see it push through there. Close above would be very nice. Not quite, but very close. All right, let's see. So this 50% line is at 66.8. So I'm going to put that, move my target to that spot on my trading screen here. So that'd be 84, so that'd be $1,700. I don't even need that much. Like, it's more than I need. All right, we have those 2 bodies close at that level. So the one thing, let's stretch this a little bit. So I would like to see a reaction where now we've pulled up, a nice little retest and a move back higher would be good. Getting a strong pullback right now. Our stop is above break even on the position, so we're not going to lose money on this trade if it rips down. Looks like it may want to come back down here, I guess. I don't really like that this down close candle pushed through here where we had an up close, down close, and then we broke higher. So Well, let's see how it goes. I mean, our stop loss is actually below the gold line, so at a red line test, it's completely reasonable to expect we do come back to the gold line. So we either sell out now, take a little bit of profit, and potentially miss the real move higher. But the other thing that could be happening here is, see, we're pushing up. This is a nice pivot low, so this would be a good spot to move our stop if we end up pushing back up. Let's see what it does. Got 5 minutes till equity opens, which normally does impact gold somewhat. I'm going to delete these lines. They really don't mean anything. More just reference points. This is tricky right here because it's just hesitating. It's not really showing its hand, I don't think. I do not like this, though. So we had to push down, and now we've got this action here. I do not like that much. Usually if you push down, a little hesitation before your next leg down, which appears to be what we're getting. All right, let's see if our gold line holds. Nope, stopped out, break even. Well, that's unfortunate. Now I do want to see, like, let's see. He came back exactly to that spot. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed. I saw this candle pattern set up and I thought, you know, this is probably an okay spot to get out. But the reason that I didn't is because I want to stick to my plan. So we did that. Just didn't get to where we wanted it to get to. Ah, this is horrible. Well, let's see. All right, I'm getting back in this. I'm like really kind of annoyed with this right now because I think it's going back up. I should have been in off this right here, but I was too slow. So we're in off the top of this range up way up here at 61.4. So that's where we're in. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a little bit of a revenge trade. 33 tick stop. That's too much. That's too much. Yeah, I'm just going to close that. I got in at a bad spot, so we can't do that. All right. All right, we got to stop and just watch this for a second. I know. This is just going to run on me now. I mean, look at this. It stopped us out exactly right there. So we'll see. We'll see which direction it goes. We do have the overnight open down here. It may want to come back there. I don't know. We shall see. We got oil here that's chopping around over the top of the range. Everything's out of sorts, though. We got our lines stacked wrong. Got a short stack on top of our range, which is tricky with the overnight open above. So that one's a little getting some mixed messaging there. The oil range here is 33. That's a pretty good range. All right, NQ opened up. We're at the top of the London range. Get this extension out of the way here a little bit. All right, is this where you decide to go? Like, part of me hopes that it does just go. That would prove me right from based on this entry. Part of me wants it to fail because that would validate the fact that I didn't miss anything by getting stopped out here. But based on my back testing, this is the setup here. So if gold is going to trend, we did get in at the right place. We just got stopped out, unfortunately. Yes, technically, this is the first touch of the gold line in NQ. Yeah, look at it go. It's going to go there, isn't it? This is really just frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, oil fell back into the range, so that's good. Maybe oil will save us here. See what it does. I'd love to see oil wrap the midline here. And maybe come back up for a test of the red line, gold line, top of the range, all that's up here. Guess I should look at NQ and see what we expect out of NQ. We're still inside this range that was created from that huge drop off yesterday. So we are coming off of a 50% retracement of that range right now. Oops. So 50% was about 263. So right about here. Right about there-ish. A little bit higher than, or lower than that, I think. So that's about 50% of that huge drop off that we had. Here's the 15-minute chart. So this morning we took out all these lows, but we still have all these lows down here. We came back up. Hovering at this level, we'll see if we reject it and come back down. I mean, the news pushed us back up into here, so I would expect us to come back down at least into this gap before we either push higher or continue down. Could go either way. So keep that on the 15-minute chart just for reference over there. All right, well, back down to this midline. What's our candle width here? 12. Oh, very small candles. That's good. Looks like there was a 5-minute inside bar over here on oil, but it failed. Did I measure that from here? 82. The big conflict I have right now is where is oil more likely to go? Is it more likely to fail lower, or is it just retesting and go back up eventually and retest the overnight open? And I don't know, but until we cross back above, until these lines cross, I don't think we'll be looking at a long. But I'm not so comfortable betting against it either. All right, we're going to take a short off of this candle. Well, I'm going to take a short off of this candle here. It's a pretty short, it's a pretty small candle, which I like. So as soon as we get stopped out right here, it won't be too bad. The reason I'm willing to give this a shot is that we came down, we had an up close candle that was then violated short. This candle wicked up into this area here and pulled back. Okay, so I like that. We have the 1 minute gold line there as kind of confirmation that that's holding for the moment. The one thing that's kind of in the way is this midline. But because we're falling from above the range, we'll see. The risk is pretty reasonable here. I think it's 11. I don't know, that midline's holding. At least for the moment. Where are you going to go, Will? Just pick a direction, please. Bummer. And look at gold go. Right back up there. Does this where it has these pullbacks and it pulls back and it pulls back, and but it's always steadily rising, steadily rising. So where would we be at now? We'd be up 67. Mercy. All right, take these off. It's just kind of annoying. I get in these holes in the morning that then I have to dig myself out of. And I'm usually pretty successful at digging out of these holes. It'd just be nice to not have to dig out of a hole. Let me get rid of these boxes here. Well, we're outside of the open range in NQ, but it's just sideways. Hasn't chosen a direction yet. 50-point range. Above London. Yeah, London and Asia basically overlapped here. 67 points in Asia. 60 in London. And then news shot us back up here, and now we're just not sure what to do. I did consider getting back in here on gold. The problem that I have is that it's kind of the, I don't know if this is the first, second, third touch up here. You'd consider this kind of one touch. Maybe this is a second touch. It's just kind of messy. Good news is the risk would have been a little bit smaller. Would have had to have it about 18. But it did move up 40 from there. It could still go higher. We still haven't hit any of these objectives up here that we would expect us to hit. So still some upside. That would have been a good spot to add a contract if we'd have still been in it. Really, you could have added there and there. That would have been too heavy a position for me, though. Okay, we broke below this midline in oil, so that's good for the shorts. See what this candle does. Maybe we give it another try here. It's kind of choppy though, which isn't what you like to see. All right, well, we're in this one. See if we can get chopped out again. Fill was kind of interesting. I had my order sitting at one tick below this candle here. And I actually got filled at 48. Actually got a better fill, which doesn't happen very often. Okay, NQ is reaching up. Well, we're in the green on this oil deal, but I'm not liking these wicks. It's kind of like it's waiting for something. I'm not sure what it's waiting for. It kind of doesn't know what it wants. It's really just kind of bizarro price action here. But as long as we stay underneath the midline, then I'm fine with it. But if we close up above it, then I'll be less fine with it. It's holding. Really expecting anything with this, though. Still haven't closed above that midline. And I wouldn't expect NQ to be consolidating forever. So at some point, it's gonna have to make its move and show us its hand. This blue line here again is the 50% point of that big move down with the news yesterday. So we're kind of curious to see if we hold below that or if we break above it. Okay. Guess oil picked down for the time being. See if it has enough gumption to push through the bottom. Kind of had this resistance before. I can't tell. Is there a wick on this candle here? Which button? No, not that button. That button. The low of this candle is 85.38. Okay, so no wick on the bottom of this candle. So last time we were down here, we wicked down and then pulled all the way back up. So see what we decide to do here. Another nice little test of the gold line on gold. See, we're still putting in higher lows over here. Move my stop loss to this pivot, above this pivot here, so at 52. My entry's at 48, so right there. Right there. I mean, it's being kind of jumpy in here. So really, who knows? But we are holding this gap. And it's still pushing down. So, oh, there we go. All right, we're out the bottom. ATM strategy moved my stop loss to 43. My entry's at 48. That's interesting. Is it trailing? It is trailing. What am I trailing by? It's interesting. I'm just going to move it back to break even, which is going to get hit right now. Really weird price action. That's just strange. All right, well, no harm, no foul in that one, I suppose. It's kind of a weird for it to drop here and then rocket in one candle halfway back. Maybe all the way back. I don't know. It's very strange. Meanwhile, gold is still putting in higher lows. Ay, ay, ay. What did we say the range on gold was, or oil? 32. So, okay. Well, kind of a rough morning again this morning. Like I said, it's really, I have to review my trades from this week because it seems like every day I end up with losing trades in the morning and then I end up making it back in the afternoon or later in the morning. So I should tell you something, right? All right, so let's recap here. Gold is still pushing up, but there's not really an entry there for us. Oil is, I mean, it's been choppy to sideways, and really it's getting these impulsive moves once in a while, and then it just kind of meanders and then gets an impulsive move, which isn't what we like to see at all. I think oil, I might have to wait and see if it starts to sort of get in rhythm here so that we can count on it for something. NQ is just consolidating sideways. A relatively tight range for it, 50 points, which was basically like a candle and a half. So nothing really to work with there. The news already happened. We don't really have any other news today. We've got tomorrow morning is import and export prices and consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. And then that's it. So might just have to be patient today and just be ready for whenever opportunity presents itself. And if it doesn't present itself, we'll just be sitting here watching. Oh, look, NQ's first break out of the range. A little tap down there. Reaching back to that London high. We're coming up on a line cross in NQ. We've had no impulsive moves. We've had no fair value gaps at all. Well, I guess we have had. I mean, there was like teeny tiny one here in here somewhere. Where was it? Right here. But I don't think that really was worth anything because we traded through it like 4 times. Guess you could say, well, it held here and now it's holding here, but it's probably more coincidence than anything. Or there's something else on a higher time frame that's really the reason for that. All right, there's a strong move to get out this low here. I think maybe gold's running out of steam. So we created a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, but now we're at a lower low. So it kind of feels like it's maybe consolidating a little bit, maybe running out of steam. Okay. All right, so we got our first fair value gap over here on NQ. Let's see if we come back to it at all. Ultimately, if we break down much lower than here, we could come all the way back down to these lows down here. I'm going to put a line there just so we've got it, which is a long way. It's 120 points from where we're at. If we invert this fair value gap, though, we could, get a nice little pullback here that could be good for a scalp. So kind of be watching to see how we react to this level. I don't really have a bias since we've just been consolidating. I mean, overall, seems like the bias should be bearish, but short term, I don't know. We are delivering out of this 15-minute fair value gap technically, so there is that to consider. This gap is only 7 points. We wicked up there and pulled right back down. There it goes. Oof. Well, if you're bearish there and you took that short, that was a really good setup. And so we've got gold falling through the floor. We've got NQ dropping. Oil's taking a nap. It's interesting. This wick pulled up almost exactly halfway to the 50% point of this fair value gap. So let's see. Let's get this over here. I mean, like to the tick almost. So we're going to take a look at this one, see what it does for us. Still think we've got room down here. Stop loss is back above this 50% level. If it breaks above there, not looking so good. So we'll get out of it if it does that. Oh, there's our stop. Let's see what we got. This is interesting. Okay, get out of there. All right, let's see if this holds. May still hold here. Meanwhile, gold came back to this midpoint, and now we're just hanging out here. And oil's like, well, maybe I'll go back up a little bit. Probably give it till 9:30 here, and then I'll probably leave to take a break. Since the market's not really doing anything. I am a little bit glad that gold didn't hit the 50% level here. Although it did get as high as 80 from our target, which ironically would have been enough to pass all those accounts. So that's sad. Yeah, I think we got to close above here. Oh, nope, I guess not. I mean, we did in this candle. The problem with this is that we created this high first, and then the candle that closed above it broke that high, so this really isn't a good inversion. Plus, it's very big. 22 points. So we did pull back down into this fair value gap over here. Just kind of barely. We are delivering from a 15-minute fair value gap. Below us. So this is looking kind of bullish to me. Need to give it a couple more minutes to play out and confirm, but this was a nice little red line play here on oil, actually. Amidst the weird price action, we still had that play out pretty nicely. Actually, this gold line trade worked out just fine too. So I guess we really shouldn't give up on those little sort of easy trades because they still are working. Had the reset. I mean, I guess that was a touch. I mean, again, price action is just kind of weird. So we got first touch, second touch of the gold line. So this would not have been a gold line trade, but it did work out as a red line trade. I mean, it hasn't gone very far, but it's gone far enough that you would be, you know, at minimum, you'd be in break-even territory. So it's not bad. And it's still, I mean, it's still playing out, so it's not done yet. All right, there NQ goes up. NQ is going up, gold is going down. Did get to that overnight open. All right, well, I think I'm going to take a break. Come give it 30 minutes or something and then come back. See what we can find. Getting close to my daily loss limit, so I got to be super choosy about the next trade that I take. It's probably going to be the last one, especially if it's a loser, so we'll be very careful with that. So again, a little bit of a disappointing morning. Somehow managed to turn a good trade into... Actually, I didn't lose on the good trade. The good trade, you know, was break even, which was fine. So I'm going to have to come back and review those and learn from the mistakes today. See how we can improve on that. This gold, or this oil is still dropping. It may turn out to be the best entry point of the day was this red line trade right here. We'll see. Anyway, hope everybody has a good day. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, it's a little bit of news in the morning. I think consumer sentiment usually moves things a little bit. So we'll see what that does and then go from there. So have a good Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.